Hi, I'm joined by Maddison Jaizani from season 4 here of Nancy Drew. I'm so excited as a Bess worshiper. I am amongst the people at Bess's feet, I would say.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel like she can do no wrong. So, she's usually in everyone's good books, which is it's a nice side of the pond to be on.
Well, I admire a lot of qualities about her, and she's obviously got a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion about her, but she's also got this really like nice, good nature, but also these really sharp instincts and intuition. And I hope or want more of those to lead her and guide her. I want people to encourage that aspect more because I think those are part of her, core characteristics that really are are so positive and should she should follow more often, I suppose.
She should. She should. I think she doubts herself occasionally just because the group in the first couple of seasons just really didn't believe that she was a strong contender in the group. And soon enough, they found out that they were very mistaken. So it was a really good storyline to play coming from this place of sort of self doubt and having the group sort of mock her a little bit and not really knowing where her strong points were. And then by season 4, like, she is so badass, like, but still so sweet. Like, it's just, she's just, I say it in every interview because it's just so true. She's like the glue that keeps the group together in so many ways because she has really good friendships with um all of the other characters. So by season 4, definitely she continues to kick ass.
Well, may I say, confidence looks very good on Bess.
It does.
Very attractive on Bess.
It does. It's true. It's true.
Well, from again, someone who feels like Bess is, as we talk about, is might be a little bit underrated, and has now finally come into that belief, I guess, in herself, that confidence in herself. That's part of something that's been really rewarding to me as a viewer to get to watch that develop over these last few seasons. What has been sort of the most rewarding aspect then for you, or what have you kind of connected with regards to your portrayal of Bess over this arc of 4 seasons?
Um, I think it has finding identity, I think, in this current climate is still a really tricky place to be. And I've gone through my own severe insecurities and mental health issues while filming Nancy Drew and in my own personal life. So I think to have such a strong storyline where she's really trying to be comfortable in her sexuality and her inner power and her voice, that means a lot to me. And I think that's touched a lot of young girls that watch the show too. Because it's a really scary place, especially when you don't feel like you fit in. And luckily in the show, we had a really good storyline where everyone was very accepting and it was all with love. And, she manages to find really great relationships with the women that, she ends up in relationships with. And yeah, that just really means a lot to me. It's important that I play like a true, believable version of it. And yeah, I just hope that that connects with people who are also going through, different trials and tribulations in their life. Because I know it's not easy. From what I've gone through in my life, I know that there's a lot of stuff going on. So I hope that that's portrayed with Bess's character and helps some people along the way.
Yes, absolutely. I love how empowering she is, and I love that again that she's kind of come across this journey and her self discovery and self confidence, and um, the show does really do an amazing job on touching on a lot of different marginalized communities and different aspects that you I guess you kind of wouldn't like expect from a supernatural type of series, but it
Oh,
does it so well. I mean, like I personally am Jewish, and to see Ace be Jewish and then actually have that Jewish representation. It's not just a character who's said to be Jewish. He practices. And then, of course, like we talk about with Bess and her sexuality and exploring that, and being confident, and not just in who she is, but the relationships that she's learned from every single person who she's been involved with over the past few seasons. That's important too, because so many people, like you said, are questioning themselves, or they think about what's going on in this climate, especially now these days, and to have a show like Nancy Drew, and although it's dwindling or going to be on episode 2, it's definitely, I will say personally, and maybe I can speak for a few other other people in the fandom to say, on behalf, that your representation, it matters. Seeing these characters on screen, it matters. It does make a difference. You are having impact on people, and to say thank you for that.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it. And I think it's been an amazing journey, because it starts from the writing and the showrunners, and because they were so passionate about it, because we have such a diverse cast and crew, and the people on the back end, like the showrunners and the writers. It was really good, because it wasn't something that we just planted in to sort of feel like we were representing. There was true backstory, and a lot of we have writers that are Jewish and Muslim and Asian, and for everyone to then be able to chip in and plant these really good storylines that meant something to them personally. It just was like a full circle moment where everyone just gave it their all, and it was a really organic, authentic, storyline. So yeah, it was a really awesome ride, and I think we did it justice. And I'm just sad it's over. It's strange. I can't believe we're on episode 2, season 4. I haven't watched episode 1 yet, so
Okay.
don't spoil it.
Oh, okay. But it's definitely nice to be able to feel seen, and be able to have that spectrum be represented on screen, and can identify, and not just whether it's your sexuality or your religion, but to have someone that you relate to. I relate to a lot of Bess. I relate to a lot of Nancy. I relate to, again, a lot of Ace. Like there's every single character, I find something that I can draw from and find and connect with at the same time too, and that's difficult. There's 5 different people at the same time.
Yeah, it's true. And it's also hard to make these characters like multi-dimensional when it's only a 42-minute show, and there's so much like other stuff that we have to talk about, with all the supernatural stuff, that it's hard to find those grounded moments for us actors to be like, this is actually my character, this is Bess, this is how she feels. But it's been amazing to hear the response of how much like people have really connected with everyone. Like I see myself in all the characters as well. It's bizarre. It's quite great what we can do.
Well, diving further into the actual season of Nancy Drew season 4, with your character Bess, she's obviously taken over the historical society as keeper. And I wanted to ask a little bit about what you can maybe share might this new role sort of signify for her this season, because everybody is so separate. We're used to seeing them at the Claw together, but everybody, excuse me, has like a separate storyline in a sense, or a separate, something tugging them somewhere else.
Totally. This was the growth season. This is the moving on up. This is the time to take control of our own lives and can't work at the Claw forever. And I think it was cool that Bess got such a huge responsibility and nailed it. It was clearly a passion of hers that she really wanted to do. And she was the person for the job. I just think it signifies the growth. And she from season 1 to season 4, the difference is like astounding. It's crazy. She couldn't even carry like a tray with a plate on it in the Claw, and now she's like the manager and the boss of the historical society, keeping all these archives and having to make sure that everything is safe and secure, and she's like saving people's lives, which is like crazy. But I think it just signifies the growth of the characters, and it was a good way to wrap up the show, leaving us on all a really mature, mature path. So that's the way I had to go.
Well, I kind of always felt like the Claw was like their clubhouse in a sense, like sort of a lot of things, a lot of big events began with them being obviously within the Claw, and sort of feels like their little Scooby-Doo headquarters in a way.
It is. We are the Scooby Doo gang. Definitely a little inch of that. But it was weird because sometimes we would go on set and we would be in the Claw, dressed in our Claw uniform, and then it would be like 2 seconds later, we're out to solve a mystery, and it's like, who actually works at the Claw? We're never in the Claw. That's just where we, scope out and do our murder boards. So I think it was time to get real jobs.
Yeah, well, the claw still for forever. The claw will always, always have a meaning. Always signify a lot for them for sure. Also, and we talk about important signifying things, but I also feel like the claw is like an anchor in a way as well. Just like Bess, of course, is an anchor to a lot of these other characters. Because she's like you talked about being good friends or having great relationships with these other people. She's an anchor, but I feel also like the claw will always kind of be a great anchor for the group too.
Totally. We all come from really dysfunctional or troubled or difficult families, or just have difficult family situations that are happening, especially for Bess not having really any family members. Obviously Nancy has a very uh, different family setup, having the two dads and obviously going through what she went through. Leah, um, George having, the issues with her mother's drinking, not knowing her father, etc. So the Claw was definitely like our home. This was like where we felt most comfortable. We could share things, and yeah, the five of us were like the family. So yeah, the Claw definitely signifies home, I think, for all the characters.
Well, then, sort of on the flip side of things, for you personally, what is that? What is that? I guess within the Nancy Drew realm of for you, because these are sort of you've got your own found family being away from your family, and you have this brother sister bonds or connections. Like you talk about with Leah or Kennedy, we see Instagram crazy posts, and of course Alex and being the platanker to Bess and Ace. What is
Yeah.
the sort of flip side for you in that sense in the found family that Nancy Drew has sort of offered to you personally?
I mean, it was like my first job where I felt like an adult. So I could me making like my own choices and really getting into the work. I mean, I'm still living in Vancouver and I'm from Manchester, and I have upped my life and just stayed here. We finished filming in December and I'm still here. So, I mean, they're gonna be my friends forever, which is really magical. And it doesn't happen all the time, You're thrown into this room with people that you've never met and you have no idea if you're meant to get on, but you have to get on screen. But that wasn't like that for us. We genuinely just really gel. And I mean, Leah is my homie. I will die for that woman. But I mean, my life is so different now. I'm living in Vancouver. I've like met someone who's a Canadian. Who would have thought? And the show just will always mark this sort of new stage in my life of like really making my own choices in acting and doing work that I really love and pushing myself, because Nancy Drew definitely pushed me. I moved here from like 2 days after something very terrible happened in my personal life that was catastrophic, and then I had to up and leave my family and move to Canada and go through a lot of really bad sad times like alone here. And then I met these guys and they pulled me really, especially Leah Lewis, she really pulled me out of a really dark place. And we did the work and I'm still here and I'm surviving. So it was a test, but yeah, I've come out a peaceful person because of the show. A more peaceful person.
What a blessing and gift at the same time to have that balance come into your life when it's sort of meant to be. I'm a destiny fate believer type of person.
I'm with you on that. I definitely agree.
We not only love Bess, of course, for the charismatic fashionista that she is, but she's our favorite Platanker. She's our number one niece shipper.
He really is. I love it.
I know you said you haven't seen episode one, but just the fact that she sort of parent trapped Ace and Nancy in that episode because she's such a big shipper was spectacular.
She's a romance. She loves to romanticize life. She is a sucker for cute, sweet, intimate moments, and she's gonna push those two and watch it all. She loves it.
And we expect any other attempts by Bess to kind of pull Nancy and Ace in the right direction, even though this curse looms over them at the same time too.
I think there's always. I mean, I think Bess will just forever be very sad about this death curse, and she is not one to wish ill on anyone, and she just really wants them both to be happy, especially because her and Nancy's relationship gets deeper and they're good pals. You'll definitely see some more mischief for sure, but I'm not gonna say anything more because I know what I'm like and I'll F it all up. Tell you everything. Like 2 hours into the interview and I've told you everything.
I've buttered you up, Maddison.
I know
We're friends now.
what we're doing. Not doing it. But it's a good season. It's gonna be it's a wild season. There's a lot going on. So be ready, buckle up.
I love though that the episode one gave us this, a great crumb to start off with, where like Ace found the bottle and he found his name and he sort of knows about things in a way at the same time. So it's like, okay, we're not jumping like 5 episodes later and like suddenly half the season is gone. No, we are like on it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Where are you? Are you in America right now? Where are you based?
Yeah, I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Ah, so you watch it as it comes out.
Yes, yes. I will say that I spoke to Kennedy a couple weeks ago, and she complimented you in the sense that that you are the number one reaction. She gave it an actual chef kiss that said that you are the number one person background reactor to things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm very expressive, and it's funny because people think that I must be so different from Bess, but actually, a lot of those background reactions, especially the scares, are actually me being really scared. It's actually me jumping out of my skin. It's like, and they get it on camera, and that's the one. It's like a genuine reaction every time. It's quite hilarious. But I appreciate her compliment.
There was the photo of Ace and Nancy like standing, and there's just like you in the background. You're like, my ship.
She's just a happy-go-lucky gal, you know.
You gotta believe in love. I mean, you talk about destiny, we talk about fate. There's other things at play in life and in the world. You gotta have a belief in love at some point, or find it in that love being a North Star in a sense.
Absolutely. It brings us together. And I think it was so great because the group has so much love for each other. Like when anyone else has a romance, it's like, ah! This is so exciting. More people to the group. We actually grew our group quite a little bit. There was some good new characters that come in. But yeah, Bess is a sucker for love, and I love that. I love to play that. It's she's a good gal.
We know that there's some new love interests that are said to come in this season. So I'm going to count on Bess, which I always do. I leave everything in her good hands to get to get them together in some way. I feel like Bess is like that meme where it's like, now kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if she could there's yes. See, I was just about to tell you something that I was just about to say it. Yeah, yeah, things will happen.
Bess has her own love life as well to navigate it, that especially more this season as well. Is there anything then on her side of romance with Addie, as their relationship is sort of developing from benefits to more than such?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They what I will say is they keep it pretty strong, and they're really supportive of each other. And I think Addie coming in to a really strange situation and being like, what the hell are you guys up to? Like this is not normal. And then sort of getting used to it and becoming a really good supporter of Bess and her rock. And there is no reason for that to break up or mess up. They really care for each other. So we ship Addie and Bess for sure.
I mean, there's all these supernatural elements, but she's the first person who Bess actually can like confide in or can like have these things happen around her where she doesn't have to like dip out and be like, oh, I'm like, I feel like it's like Supergirl in a way. Like she's like,
Yeah.
she's her order. Like, she gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that they end up just being pretty honest with each other, and you gotta like it. I mean, she's part of the historical society now, and that's a lot of strange and mystical things that go on in there. So you kind of gotta be team Bess on that one.
Well, you haven't watched episode one, but is there an episode that is your favorite or one you're maybe looking forward to this season specifically, or do you have one overall?
Honestly, a lot of the middle season, there's a blur. There was a lot going on, but the thing that really sticks out to me and I remember is the last episode, because there's just so much meaning for us personally with the last episode, and it meant so much because it was just at the end of the show, and we actually filmed the last scene of season 4 last. Usually an episode is jumbled up and you'll start on the end and you'll go to the beginning and there's no continuity. But the director at the time really wanted us to have that last scene as the last moment in the show ever, and to get our real reactions. And I am just going to say I sobbed and sobbed, and I had one little line and I was like, bye. I was like, I could not get it out. Yeah, it was really emotional, and yeah, I just, that really will stick in my head. Just because it's like such an organic reaction of all of us, because was the last episode and the last scene ever that we filmed. So let's say that one. But there's a lot of good nuggets in it, especially for my character. I really liked Bess's storyline.
When you were looking over the finale script, or like kind of reading it over pre-filming, were there moments in there that you were like, oh my heart, or like, oh, I can't believe that, or
Oh,
this is
yeah, all the time. I mean, the storylines are so imaginative anyway. I mean, I don't know where they get the content from. It's just incredible, all of these amazing monsters that we create, and just all of the little nuggets of information that we have to remember, which can sometimes be really difficult because it's a lot of stuff to say. But sorry, what was the question? Gone.
When you were like reading through like the finale script and then obviously subsequently like filming, like putting these things together, were there moments when you kind of like gasping from the script or like kind of felt the heart tug at the same time too, and then
Yeah.
filming obviously subsequently, like I was saying, to like these magical moments, like these magic moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the time. When we would do read throughs with the whole cast, we would just constantly like, what? Like how are we what there's so many moments in it because there's like everyone's storyline is like because we have kind of separate storylines in season 4 because we're sort of doing our own thing and it's very intense. There's a lot to fit in 13 episodes, with all the characters and plus this death curse which we're trying to fight. um it's definitely, I would say, our wildest season, definitely.
It's already been so like palpable and poignant, but that's also the great hallmark of Nancy Drew this season, not just this season, excuse me, this series, um, that you live for each breath, like you're on edge for each breath while you're watching the episode because of all the cinematography that builds up the tension, the monsters, the characters that you're kind of like, what's gonna happen, what's around the corner, who's gonna do what, and like you said, like it's 13 episodes, but there's also like, I guess it's like 45 minutes or something like that. It ends up being within an episode to sans commercial
Yeah.
that fit everything in, and every moment just feels like you're holding your breath, and that's what makes for amazing TV and brilliant TV. And then again, to chalk it up to the writers and chalk it up to the producers, chalk it up to you all for the delivery that you give to us in this 45-minute package that kind of takes us away from life or reality, to this great escapism that I find, that my little spooky squad offers us.
I mean, the monsters, if you're into that kind of thing, the monsters in this season are like, it's phenomenal what a makeup team can do with a contortionist. Like, it is crazy. You're going to love it.
Well, just my final question would be what you kind of hope lingers with fans after the series finale happens, what they take away from watching the series, and sort of becoming more than just I was more than like a fly on the wall. I feel like we're also part of that friend group. Like we're also a sixth member of the spooky squad.
Absolutely. And we really hope that lasts a really long time. We all put blood, sweat, and tears into that show. We really did. It was hard work, and a lot of us were sort of fresh and hadn't done too much in our career. So though it was, a lot on our shoulders to do. But we're gonna stay very close forever, and this is because of Nancy Drew. We are lifelong friends, and I think that for the fans it shouldn't die out. The legacy should stay on, and I'm just hoping we get some sort of Comic-Con or something, like bring a Nancy Drew Comic-Con so we can meet all you guys, because COVID really messed that up, unfortunately, and we definitely would have had more meet and greets. But the fan base has been amazing. It's incredible how many people communicate over Twitter and Instagram, and I still can't believe I'm getting tagged in these amazing messages and montages of Bess being adorable. I'm like, oh my god, you still care. So and that's why we do what we do. It's like it's so nice to have that support to like reassure you that you are doing like a good job and like it is translating and we're making, it's all worth it. So yeah, the fans are just as important to us than the show. It's you're imperative to the process.
Well, I know there's obviously a writer's strike going on, which I fully support, and I hope that there's another project around the corner or something coming up, and when the time is appropriate. Because as someone who is such a fan, I talk about being a fan of Best, but I'm also a really big fan, a really really big fan of the work that you do and the connection that you make through this character. So I want to say thank you very much for your portrayal of Bess, but also for being someone who I greatly admire.
Thank you so much. That's really sweet. And there's nothing really around the corner for me yet, so I'm just I'm trying to stay healthy and do things that I love and spend time with friends and family. And when it comes, it comes. But all you got to do is wait and stay positive. And it's really nice that people like yourself want to chat to me. Keeps me sane. What you don't do.
Anytime, Madison, anytime. No, we're good friends now. Remember, you can talk to me after the episodes.
So it's, yeah, I mean, we appreciate you a lot. So I thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and it's been great.
The pleasure is an honor, I feel, is most certainly mine. And I do hope that there will be more conventions where the Nancy Drew cast can get out and meet fans, because as much as social media gives us like a little window and glimpses and we can tweet, there's nothing like sharing a hug or just even like a handshake or a wave or a smile that can really give someone a boost. And
Of course, yeah, it's important to have the human connection, especially in this industry. So I miss it. I'm sure everyone else does. So let's just hope. Maybe I'll sign like a petition to bring a Nancy Con or something.
the people started. There's horror conventions, there's Comic Cons, there's Atlanta has its own Dragon Con. I'm trying to think. Dragon
Yeah,
Con. So now it is the start to get on the circuit. Get on the circuit.
I will. I'll look into it. I'll do my best.
Thank you so much for all of your time today. Thank you for again just being a part of such a special series. That means such a great deal to so many of us. I'm looking forward to worshiping more of Bess this season and getting to kind of flail and ship and kind of help along the way by some ounce of like putting positive energy out. Like, this is a TV show, but I put a positive energy out there.
Please do. Please do. Root for Bess. But it's going to be a great season, and I really hope you enjoy it. And we hope to hear your feedback. So, yeah, thank you very much.